Okay, so remember...
Found the intro.
Now, welcome back to another MCU review. We're recording this literally as soon as we just finished recording for Iron Man 2, but I'm joined by...
Jonah Morgan.
And
Logan Wilson.
And today we're going to be talking about Thor, the fourth movie in Phase 1.
Thor.
So...
Watched this at like 3 in the morning.
Yeah, I was literally watching this at like 2 a.m.
So rewatching Iron Man 2, opinion changed significantly.
Yeah.
For me.
My opinions stay pretty much the same.
My opinion stayed the same on this movie.
Mine changed. I think mine went up a little
They
bit.
were never bad thoughts in the movie. They were just kind of eh.
I just thought that my opinion went up a little bit because
it's also been a lot longer since you've seen.
I hadn't watched this in a long time, but I thought I had remembered it being not as high of like a quality movie as the past couple, but wrong. I just hadn't seen it in a long time.
A lot of weird character, like
this movie
camera
aged well.
angles.
This movie aged very well.
This movie, I don't know who directed this film. I don't remember, but it felt different. A lot of like camera shots were different. Like
a lot of different camera angles.
It looked different, and I liked it. I thought it was
the scene
cool.
where Coulson comes up to the crater and it's like a sideways shot.
Yeah, there was a lot of weird side shot, like strange, not very MCU-esque.
Especially of the hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
yeah.
So kind of doing like I guess it's sort of like a mix, just whatever comes to mind. First and foremost, this is the movie that introduces Chris Hemsworth as Thor.
Yeah.
This was his first he had
major role.
He had a minor role in a movie called Cabin in the Woods. It's a really
He was also
really
in Star
good
Trek
movie.
The Star Trek.
And
Film.
he was Kirk's dad.
Yeah.
In the first Star Trek with Chris Pine in it.
Yeah.
But other than that, this was his first this is what made Chris Hemsworth Chris Hemsworth.
This kind of put him on the spot. Like a lot of actors in the MCU, really kind of just put him on the spot. But I don't want to say Robert Downey Jr.
He was already popular, but maybe for the wrong reason.
It kind of rebirthed him a little bit.
But no, this movie is why Chris Hemsworth is Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, right.
But I would say this movie did a good job of introducing Thor, giving him like that fish out of water story.
Oh yeah,
and you really get a lot of growth from him in the movie. Right?
Yeah, right. And it's incredible.
Thor's a
dick. He's a turd in the beginning.
Thor's a turd.
But then at the end, he's like when Loki, who we'll get to, ends up wanting to destroy the Frost Giant planet, and then Thor's the one who says, "No, you can't do this." It just shows you the growth he had just in this movie alone, and I actually thought it was pretty well done.
Yeah, I think he's a very well written character. I mean, the character's changed a lot. It's kind of obvious. He's changed a lot.
He's very it makes sense. He's like a warrior. That's all. That's what he has been, his attitude makes sense for that. And I really like the fact that his do his friends have a name, the group of them together, or are they just
it's the Warriors 3 and then Sif.
She's there. She's
right.
Fine.
Yeah, she's fine. You're right.
And then Loki's kind of there too.
I have to say, a lot of the Asgardian characters, like the Warriors 3, are kind of a downfall in this movie. They're kind of cheesy, and I get that's probably part of the point because they want that kind of hokey Shakespearean feel.
There's never any point in time in any Thor movie where they're good.
Great characters.
Because
they're not great.
Dark World, they're not great. And then Ragnarok, they're killed off just like that before they get a chance.
They're not great characters.
Sif, though.
Sif's not bad. Sif's not bad.
She was also in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I remember that episode.
Yeah, she's in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She's awesome. Of
the tiny bit of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I've seen, I've seen that episode.
We did a Love and Thunder review, so I'm gonna make this callback now. But there's a little. I guess it would have been.
Oh my gosh, there is.
In Thor: Love and Thunder, where she's like, "Let me die a hero's death and go to Valhalla."
She says the same thing.
She says the same thing in this film.
When she's behind the car with the destroyer.
Yes, when she's behind the car, and he's like, "No," and then in Love and Thunder, he's like, "No." So I thought that was kind of funny. And it honestly feels like, looking back, it feels like they were making fun of that
because she runs away from the car. She's hiding behind, and immediately the car gets blown up.
Yeah.
So she would have died.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Loki.
Look, it feels weird to look at him with that hair. It's shorter.
He also Tom Hiddleston looks like a baby in this movie,
but he's still fantastic.
He's great.
He's really good.
His performance is incredible.
His acting is fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, can we get this out of the way? Odin solos the Avengers with one hand tied behind his back.
Bet. Yeah, literally.
Odin's cool. I love
Yeah,
Anthony
Odin
Hopkins
is
as Odin.
Right. No,
Even though he's
great.
not in this movie,
He spends most of it in the Odin sleep.
but he's
Right.
still like affected because like
Right.
he shows up to Jotunheim and immediately everyone's like scared of him.
Yeah.
He's very cool.
Everybody's like,
Oh, it's Odin.
bye.
No, he's very cool
They're
character.
like,
He does a
let's
good
kill
job.
Thor. Oh, I love the stone.
He also puts Thor in his place.
Yeah, no, that seems great.
Because he banishes
That
him.
seems great.
I
Seems
forgot
great.
about it. Yeah. I totally forgot that the hammer wasn't always
Thor's.
not able to be picked up by anyone. It could have been picked up by anyone at the beginning of the movie, but he puts that like it's like a rune on it, and it's like I guess it's like a spell. I guess because he's Odin.
Right.
Yeah.
And whoever picks it up, Power Thor, worthy.
I never thought about that. I don't know why I never registered
It's
that
just
before.
a regular hammer.
It's
that
just a
was,
hammer
like,
before.
forged.
The scene where Thor becomes worthy again and he fights the Destroyer, which looks
Oh,
so cool.
The Destroyer's really sick.
Yeah, but that fight was really cool.
Yeah.
That was.
It also makes.
I wish we could have seen more of it.
It also is like so when the Destroyer backhands Thor.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Okay.
It's believable that he would have died.
Right.
Like because
He's a dude.
because most movies would have been like, he's fine, he just got hit. No, he has like spikes on his hand,
Yeah.
and even if he didn't, with that amount of force, you're dead.
Right.
And from something like that.
No,
He's just a
the
regular
Destroyer
dude.
was very cool. He absolutely wipes. I mean, there at the beginning,
He
where,
wipes, yeah.
where he like lets the Destroyer out to like
three.
to kill the three like frost giants.
It's immediate.
It's just they're done. And
Yeah.
like as soon as that thing's bop 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 dead,
And then it just goes
that
back
thing
away.
wipes.
But I wish we
Absolutely
could have seen
wipes.
more of the fight between him and the Destroyer and Thor, because so much of
Yeah.
it is covered up by a tornado.
There is a
the tornado's
lot-
kind of weird.
There is a lot of downtime in this film where there's just not much happening,
And it makes the movie not that
and it
interesting.
does make the movie a little
Now,
slow.
it's more interesting than Hulk, but honestly
Yes.
not
Yes.
by that much.
because the performances in this film are pretty solid.
The
and
performances and the characters,
and the
I think
characters
are a
I
lot more
like.
solid. So,
So it's a little more enjoyable, but there's a lot of downtime. There's not that much.
And I
Yes.
kind of want to talk about these three characters as a whole. So you have Jane, Darcy, and Eric.
I
Yeah.
love Eric.
Eric, best of the three in this movie.
Yeah, his character
Sure.
takes a large turn.
Eric, yeah, and then he's like he's an important character in Avengers.
He is a very important
yeah,
character in
he's
Avengers.
a important character that.
He's an important character in a lot of films.
He's also Pennywise's dad.
That's right, he is. I think
He's also Pennywise's dad.
hilarious in the Dark World.
Yes,
He's so
he's funny in this movie too because he gets
Oh, no,
like
but-
stupid
Oh, no,
drunk.
but, yeah, but I'm saying he's also funny in Dark World. He's funny in Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
For the little bit he's up. I think Age of Ultron is the last time that no, because we see him in Love and Thunder for
He's
a
in,
short
he's in
time.
love.
Yeah,
He's in Love and Thunder. But in this movie, he gets really drunk, and then he puts an Alka-Seltzer tab, and he just sits there and watches it dissolve.
yeah. Very enjoyable character.
So yeah, Eric is probably the best. Jane is okay.
Jane
not bad.
is way too quickly obsessed
She's
with Thor.
very immediately obsessed with Thor.
It's
See,
almost
and
like
the
he
thing
has like the powers of like Aphrodite. Like
Right.
he immediately.
He's a charming guy, though.
But,
he's a
like-
god. He's literally a god. So part of me wants to forgive that because he is straight up a god. Even though when she meets him, he's technically just a dude.
and then
But to be
and
fair,
then he
he's
disappears
still-
for
he's still
2 years.
he's still Chris Hemsworth.
And then he disappears for 2 years.
He's still Chris Hemsworth.
I think it's like a year at this time, and then like
It's
a year.
between Thor and Thor the Dark World, it's 2 years.
Okay, yeah, but
Yeah.
and not in terms of like the next time he comes to Earth.
Next time he comes to Earth, it's Avengers, but he still doesn't go to see her,
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
which is hilarious.
Yeah, but I think I would say the chemistry between Jane and Thor was a lot more believable here.
I don't think it's bad.
And I think it's because of the fact that I think Natalie Portman had like a thing for Chris Hemsworth.
I'm sure she. How
And
could
then
you
I
not?
would. If I
because,
was her.
she wasn't like
And the
seeing
thing is-
anybody or was like engaged or anything. And then in the Dark World,
And the
she's
crazy-
married by then.
the
so
crazy
the
part
chemistry
is-
isn't this believable.
The crazy part is this is the least attractive he is in any of the movies, and he's
Yeah.
still
and
like
that's weird to say. And I don't know.
I don't
what
want
the,
to
the
say.
hair is a weird length.
That's it.
It's a weird
That's
length.
The hairs are really, and also his eyebrows are blondish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what throws me off.
His beard is a different color than his eyebrows.
Yeah.
Wrapping up the three of them, Darcy.
Dude, I love Darcy.
That's just
She
funny.
teases him.
Yeah.
That's so. I love
think that's
Darcy.
funny.
And then when like Coulson's a jerk.
Yeah.
Because Coulson takes all their crap. I'm assuming he probably would have given it back, but he does. He doesn't say that. But she's like, dude, my iPod. It had 30 songs on it. She's like, dude, shut up about your iPod.
Yeah.
Because it makes
I
sense.
don't know,
Because back
Darcy-
in what year was this?
2011.
11.
iPods were a big deal.
Yeah.
iPod Touch was a big deal.
I don't know. I wasn't as big a fan of Darcy.
Dude, I love
thought
Darcy.
She annoyed me,
Thor-
especially in Dark
Ain't that
World.
bad.
And Thor 2, she's fantastic. I love Darcy.
Yeah, I'm not.
She's supposed to be annoying.
I like her, but doesn't mean I have to like it.
She's supposed to be.
But she does have her funny moments. I'll give her that. And I like her a lot more in WandaVision. Weirdly enough.
She's.
But it's weird because I think I like this more than WandaVision.
I mean, she probably hadn't been in a lot of other movies before this.
Yeah, so like she has her funny moments, but on the whole, she's just. I wasn't a fan of her.
Visually, this movie like aged really well.
Yeah.
It does.
Asgard, like all of the scenery looks so good.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it's all computer generated.
Yeah.
Like a lot of it probably.
And apparently the credits for this movie were just like a whole bunch of space. Apparently I think it took just as long to make as the actual movie did.
What?
That's insane.
With like all the space, because all of the space like
The space shots.
I think are like actually a thing, like actual
Dude, F
space
that.
shots.
Really?
I
Dude,
think
F
so.
that.
Because I think-
That's a lot of effort.
if
for
I
a
remember
reason
what my
like
mom
that.
told me a couple of years ago, that's that. But
No, visually this movie looks great.
it looks amazing.
Heimdall.
Get
Oh, you mean the actual best character?
My
Idris
favorite
Elba's
actor
awesome.
ever. Idris Elba. And
Because he gets
I-
frozen.
I-
Thor's trying to come back,
he
and then
breaks
he
out
breaks
of it and he immediately chops some dude's head off.
He breaks out of it through the sheer power of
Will.
screw you,
Through the sheer power of Heimdall.
power of Heimdall.
And so his voice, I would be willing to bet that there's minimal editing done on that voice. There's probably a reverb added to it,
Yeah,
but his
they add
voice
some
is
post
so deep.
effects.
Yeah,
But Idris Elba's
go
voice
for it.
is so deep.
yeah, that's fair.
Also, if without the freezing powers, dude, Heimdall wipes Loki. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah, probably.
Not like Loki, like in a couple of movies, but like this Loki. Oh, Heimdall wipes the floor with him.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Movie ends. Bifrost destroyed.
Loki.
Thor doesn't see Thor when Loki's just sitting there with the hammer on him, just like I can't move it.
And then Loki, Princess Leia's down. That's
Yeah.
kind of what it looks like if you look at it. Him floating away down after he lets go of the.
Oh
Let's
yeah,
go the spear.
It's like,
He floats away, and it looks like Princess
Which-
Leia in Last Jedi.
Which this also starts the trend of every time you see Loki for almost every other movie in the MCU, it starts a trend of like if he dies in one movie, the next movie he's getting the Tesseract, and if he gets the Tesseract in one movie, he dies in the next one, or fake dies. It's a pattern.
Yeah, this. Then Avengers, then
he gets
Thor:
the
The Dark
Tesseract.
World.
Thor: Dark World, fake dies.
Yeah.
Ragnarok gets the Tesseract. Infinity War dies. Endgame gets the Tesseract.
Yes, Tesseract, and then
And then Loki breaks that trend.
hopefully he doesn't die again.
It's dying.
Hopefully he comes back in the movies because Tom Hiddleston is one of my favorites.
Yeah, I hope.
Yeah,
I
he's
hope so.
great.
But the Bifrost is broken. Thor doesn't see Jane again until the Dark World, and then you have the post-credit scene. Once again, setting up the Avengers
setting up the Avengers.
with Eric Selvig seeing
Yep.
the Tesseract,
Mm-hmm.
which leads into the first Avenger.
Right.
Score. We didn't talk about Iron Man's score. Not even score. Just hey, shoot the thrill. Shoot.
The soundtrack of all these films are so good. Like the reoccurring,
All MCU movies
the
soundtracks are going.
reoccurring like theme for Thor. in this
Even the
film is
Eternal
really nice.
soundtrack is good.
All of the soundtracks are good.
All soundtracks are good.
That's fair.
It did.
But the Thor score
I don't remember
especially
what
is
the
really
score.
good.
I know Alan Silvestri was Avengers, but like
You forget how good Loki is in combat. I'll say that. In the first scene where
Yeah,
they're
he's
where
a
they're
warrior
facing
too.
frost giants, he was.
I mean he's he's an Asgardian warrior. He
Yeah.
should.
So overall
how
thoughts.
does he work? Okay, where does he go when he lets go of the scepter? How does he get to Thanos?
I think he just ends up there because he falls through space.
He just is
he just
there.
falls through space.
Yeah.
So just kind of go with that.
I've been falling for 30 minutes.
That's the best line in that movie, and I can't wait to talk about it when we get to Ragnarok. But anyway, so our overall thoughts. Which of you guys want to go first? Or would you like me to?
I'll take this one.
I don't have the number.
Because I did enjoy this movie more on rewatch. I really like Thor as a character. I really like Loki as a character, and they really make this film.
They do mesh.
They do.
Yes.
They do very good things for this movie. I think I'm gonna give it like a 7.8, which is pretty high.
That's very high.
Pretty high for this film because it's not widely regarded as great, but I really enjoyed it. So that's what I'm gonna give it.
I literally was thinking around the same area that I enjoyed.
I wasn't.
I enjoyed it more. Don't you dare give it below a 6.
Below a 7
no.
is wrong for this
Below,
film.
I don't think below a 7 is wrong.
I think 7 is the minimum.
I really enjoyed this movie better on rewatch. It's just enjoyable, and you're right, it does age very well. This movie still looks very, very good. I think the plot is good. Jane Foster is kind of annoying at times. Not annoying necessarily, but like, dude, she's obsessed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say 7.3 is what I was going to say.
Man, y'all are specific.
Yeah, man.
Gotta get specific.
There's
a lot of movies in this franchise.
That's fair. That's fair.
7.35. 7.30.
Yeah, 7.35. I plan to go back through all these videos and write out put them in order of how I actually specifically rank them.
7.3.
Because that's why I'm getting specific. Is because I know I have all.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea.
Yeah.
I already kind of have a ranking written down somewhere. But
7.3.
for me, I'm not going that high, but I do still think this movie is still really enjoyable. But because there was so much downtime, it just made the movie not as interesting to watch, and I found myself for parts of this movie kind of bored.
Did we watch it at 3 in the morning? We stayed awake.
I was fine.
I watched it the evening and I got bored. I didn't get sleepy. I was just bored. And again, it's not a bad movie by any means. I kind of view it as average. So I'm honestly gonna have to say probably a 6.5, which is top of average for me. Now, it tiers between that and a 7. It's somewhere around there. But
I think I gave Eternals a 6, so.
Oh, I will not give it that high. Again, I'm gonna stick with a 6.5. To me, it's average, but it's still not a bad movie by any means. It's still, yeah. The movie still does a great job of introducing Thor, and it's still enough. It's still important enough where it's still required, and it's still a necessary watch to get an idea for how Thor is. Plus, you need it to understand Avengers. But then again, you need almost every single movie in this phase to understand Avengers, almost. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for a review of Thor. So next time we start the best franchise. So next we're going to be doing Captain America: The First Avenger, which we are going to be watching together. And I am so excited to watch that again. And it hasn't been that long since I watched it, actually. A few months ago, I want to say.
It's probably been a couple years.
Great film.
Anyway, so be sure to stay tuned for that. And we will see y'all later, Webheads.